welcome. It is the podcast. It is a Wednesday night. It is the Christmas season. We're all decked in red. Well, we don't get the red lights on tonight because the blues didn't work. We're live here at CSZ, Philadelphia Comedy Sports. Great night. Miss Robin's all discombobulated as we start the program again. We got a great show tonight. The whole gang. First of all, our buddy Joe Corrado, not here with us tonight, lost his aunt yesterday. And,
yes, very sad.
Home, and our thoughts and prayers go out to his family as you lose a loved one. And she was suffering. And
she had pancreatic cancer, which is normally can be very, very painful kind of cancer.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, she passed away, but she's no longer in pain.
Exactly. We want to thank Joe, and so Joe will be back with us next week. But we have a good show tonight. We'll talk a lot of sports. We'll talk a lot of weird stuff. Robin will have our weekly This Week in Florida update, because Florida, of course, is where everything crazy happens. It happens in other places, but there's no doubt Florida is the epicenter of crazy, wacky things. We'll talk some Eagles. We'll talk some Sixers. We'll talk some Cleveland Browns. We'll talk a lot of fun stuff. And we'll even go to our Tony Bruno hotline and hear from a couple of special people who called in and left messages, including our weekly special, the FMK segment, which has become very popular. You know what FMK means. Marry and kill are the two other words, but we don't really want to go there with the first. Everybody knows what that means, right?
Right. It's the F. You just say F. I think people will understand F.
F, marry, kill.
F, marry, kill.
I know we can curse on a podcast, but I don't want to do that. It's just too easy. It's too easy to take the low road. I usually wait till I'm off the air to take the low road. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean.
But I want to bring out our first guest so we can get started. Tammy Pescatelli is going to be here. Great comedian. She's in town. She's got her own special. You've seen her everywhere. She's phenomenal. She's going to join us. But I got to bring out a special guest.
We are very excited. It is like a reunion.
Yes. I've worked with a lot of people in my career. Great partners at ESPN, at Fox Sports Radio. But here in Philadelphia for about 7 years, we were partnered on 97.5 The Fanatic. And he came in tonight. He's a great friend. I didn't even know he wasn't living in I thought he was all the way in Phoenixville, but he's moved closer. So I don't feel so bad that he had to come in from way out in the suburbs. You hear him every day on 97.5 The Fanatic with Rob Ellis. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put your hands together for Mr. Harry May. And by the way, Harry, I got welcome, pal, welcome. Well, we brought you some of your other favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Bud Light Lime, which is Harry's favorite drink.
That's only in the summertime.
Yeah, whenever he goes to a baseball game or a sporting event, he gladly will pay $9 for a crappy Bud Light
And much
Lime.
rippage has been done over the years with that.
Now, this is ice cold. So you have a choice, Harry. I'm going to give you the choice as we start the podcast.
I'll start off with the
cold
beer.
Bud Light Lime or a really nice Grey Goose and cranberry juice.
Yeah, whenever you want to spend $80+ at a baseball game and not get drunk, this is what you do. Okay? This is what you do.
Luigi Curto is here up in the God Mike booth up there, and of course our great videographer, Mr. Tutvid himself, a man whose kid is now 2 weeks old. So he's a veteran. Is it 3 weeks now or 2?
Yeah, it's still 2 weeks.
It's 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks.
2 weeks. His wife and daughter were here 2 days after his baby.
3 days.
Wow. 3 days after the baby was born in the studio here at Comedy Sports Philly. So Harry, we're going to talk a lot of sports. I know you talk a lot of sports.
I'm going home.
Yeah, not a lot of sports, but we've got issues to discuss. We've got all kinds of things, and I've broken it down here.
As you always do.
As I always do. Actually, I prepare more for this 2-hour show than I did for like 10 hours a week on radio.
Well, it's like your Overman segment.
Exactly.
That was you'd prepare all week
a
for
whole
that.
week to prepare. People think we just roll in here and just plop down and have a guy come in smoking weed right on the street and take a picture with us.
Well, he's here for the Florida segment. Florida.
That's the great thing about doing a podcast, Harry.
Yeah.
Is that we can actually drink. You can't drink on the radio.
No, you can't.
Well, you're not supposed to.
This is what I'm aspiring to do.
The podcast where you can drink?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, we'll be drinking. Harry and I will be talking some sports. We'll have the updates. We'll talk about the Sixers. We'll get into that. DeMarco Murray, a lot of big stories here locally. And, of course, the big story in football is the NFC East, which is an absolute disaster. But is it the worst division ever? Because, you got the NFC East. Remember, last year, the Carolina Panthers won their division. the NFC South with a 7-8-1 record.
Oh,
That's
it's 7-8-1.
They were 7-8-1 a year ago and won the division.
And
now
won
they're
a playoff
undefeated.
game.
And won a playoff game at 7-8-1. Then go back to 2010, the NFC West. Seattle Seahawks were 7-9 and won the NFC West, and then went to New Orleans and played a team with 12 wins and beat them in the first round of the playoffs.
Right. Then lost the next week to Chicago.
Exactly. So everybody's talking about this is the worst division in history, the NFC East this year, and it's bad because it's bad top to bottom, but it's consistently bad from top to bottom. Everybody stinks.
Oh, yeah. It's putrid.
Now, we'll talk about that. We'll have to have a drink first.
Right.
She now has a comedy special, Finding the Funny, exclusively on Netflix
With Jenny McCarthy.
and on iTunes. No, Dirty Sexy Funny was with Jenny
Oh, that's
McCarthy.
right.
What's
Come
wrong
on,
with you,
Robin.
Robin?
I'm getting my shows mixed up.
What's the matter with you? She's the one who tweeted out she's on Last Comic Standing, and then Tammy ripped me. I do research. She's appearing at Halem Comedy Club across the street all week, and she's Italian, I believe. And I'm not having her on the podcast because she's Italian. I'm having her on the podcast because I'm Italian. Let's give it up for an amazingly talented and funny lady, Tammy Pescatelli.
She's that funny lady.
Tammy Pescatelli. I've seen your stuff. It's hilarious. And Robin tweeted out about Last Comic Standing, but
Well,
you've
lots
moved
of
on.
people say that. Even the club. I said to the club, I go, God, it was 10 years ago. If anybody remembered, my people are my age. We don't remember what we did last week.
Harry and I
Let
would do
alone
that
10
every day.
years
We didn't
ago,
remember
right?
last week.
We do a 4-hour radio show and forget what we talked about.
I don't. 10 years ago, I'm like, come on. No one's remembering that, I don't think.
Now, do you remember you're from Cleveland? Are you from Cleveland?
Do
or-
I remember it?
Are you
What
from
am I,
Cleveland?
Trying to forget
What
it.
am I, Sacagawea? Of course
No,
I
but I
remember.
read that you're from like Meadville, which is across
I lived there because my husband and I met in Los Angeles, right? And it was beautiful and it was 80 degrees and he's a Brooklyn boy, so it was like it's going to be perfect to raise a kid. And then I was pregnant and a man walked by in a 3-piece suit, a briefcase, and like a Superman cape, and I was like, we got to get the hell out of here. So then I tried to live in Brooklyn, and we lived one Brooklyn attached house, those brownstones.
Absolutely.
Next door to his mother, who makes the mother from Everybody Loves Raymond look like a really nice, like Mother Teresa.
Oh, wow.
Right? I always say like the Pope would stab her with his hat. So that's the, and then we left. So we went to this little town and he fell in love. It's a Back to the Future. But I'm from Cleveland, born and raised.
But Cleveland is like adjacent to Pennsylvania, so you have that.
Please, Cleveland is adjacent to professional sports.
Well,
as
there's no
well,
doubt
so
about that.
there's
You
no-
think things are bad here in Philadelphia, because the Eagles are a mess. They haven't won a Super Bowl. But then you look at Cleveland.
We are Cleveland.
We're
You
not.
wish you were Cleveland. You've at least had winners. You've had winners. You've seen it. You've played to the. You don't
but
even
you got
want me to
LeBron
stop.
now.
It doesn't matter. He's one person. It's like having one guy say, "You don't even know. You with your hat, you're leaning back. I can't even sit correctly because the Browns piss me off so bad. I don't even get mad at the Browns anymore. I get mad at myself. And LeBron, I love LeBron, but you can't. If you got one smart guy and surround him with a bunch of slow kids, what are you gonna do?
No, that's
It's
the
like,
Sixers.
No, the Sixers are a whole bunch
Yeah,
of
but you
slow
had
kids.
great years. You had all those great years. You had all that.
No, not with the Sixers.
We've
The Sixers
never-
have had the 66-67 team, which I think is the greatest team
It doesn't
ever.
matter. You had that. You see,
championships.
I don't
You're
have
right.
that.
But here's the
I don't have
amazing thing.
anything. I've never played the game to the end.
Here's the amazing thing about Cleveland. So they suck and they get LeBron, and he takes him single-handedly and almost wins a championship, but doesn't. Then he leaves, goes to Miami, wins a couple of them. Then he comes back, and now they're just they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good. They have a chance to win. But now all of a sudden, LeBron's 30 and he's starting to look like he's getting old in a hurry. Is that what
Please.
happens in Cleveland?
Look what happens. Look at the Ravens. They leave
30's
us
the new
and they
45 in
win.
Cleveland time.
That's because it feels that
Yeah.
way. It feels like every
At
year.
least you
it's
got
two.
at least you have a chance with LeBron. The 76ers couldn't beat the Washington
I
Generals.
don't even know that we have the best college team in the NFL. There is no way it's the Browns, even if no one's going
But at least
to
you
the
got
end.
Johnny Manziel back, though. At least they made a
Do
decision.
you want to know why they put Manziel's jersey on the back of his name on the back of his jersey?
No.
Because you can't say on the back of the jersey. That's why. He's horrible. He's the Christian Laettner of football. There's nothing
Wow.
Christian Laettner actually had a pretty decent career.
there. Not as a pro. It was
Oh,
a
yeah.
journeyman.
He
It
was
was
all right.
horrible.
He made
What
the great
numbers
shot
did-
here in
What
Philadelphia.
numbers did he have? Yeah, probably. You remember those.
He had the great shot at the Spectrum
Right.
in the final in the game where he shot it at the last second and won.
Yeah, well, we always
But then he
remember
sucked in the
those.
pros. You're right about
Yeah,
that.
Please.
So what's worse for you, being a Cleveland Brown fan or just being a Cleveland fan, period? Because you're obviously a sports fan.
Well, my father was a professional football player, so I grew up with that, and I knew all that stuff. And just like over here, you guys had like some of the people that I worked with in the CBA came in and were your coaches here, so I follow it. Because plus, I mean, that's how I used to. That was my bar to date. If you called me during a sporting event, we couldn't date because I had a guy call me once during the Super Bowl that I really liked, and I really wanted to talk to him, but I was like, if this doesn't mean as much to you as it does to me, we're never going to work out.
Now, obviously, being Italian, I saw you tweeted this guy Luca something, another Italian guy.
That's my husband.
That's your husband?
Yeah, that's my
No, I'm like, I said, because I saw the joke, and it's like, oh, I got to meet this guy. I don't know who he is, but I got to meet him.
Yeah, because I was saying that who do I got to sleep with to meet this guy, and it was my husband.
Oh, see, I didn't know
think,
that.
what am, some
But he's
kind of
really,
whore? I'll swear.
If people think you're Italian,
Oh,
he is
please.
like Italian
That's
to
what-
the next 100th degree.
Yeah, that's what. Imagine his mother, and it's crazy. Literally, I left to go on the road. And you were talking about someone coming back 3 weeks after. I was on stage the night before I gave birth, and I was back to work in 2 weeks. And but my mother-in-law, when I was gone, changed the furniture in my house. She got new furniture and got rid of mine and changed my son's formula for it. And I was like, oh, we got to get the hell out of here. She's a crazy lady.
You'll do it better than I do.
have
That's why I'm not a comic.
The lowest divorce rate in anywhere, though, in Cleveland, because people just keep thinking, maybe next year it'll get better. And it never gets better. It just gets too cold to move, and you're pissed, and it's just never. I hear people say to me all the time, oh, like if I say something about the Indians, they're like, my Cubs. Oh, at least you fall into every once in a while, you get a little playoff lift, a little World Series or Super Bowl, or there's nothing.
Oh, you had a little run in with Charlie Manuel had your club. You had a nice little run.
We had a little, well, I'll tell you the truth, but that really, I don't even attribute it to, I think it's probably because of, I was hoping like the Costner movie did as well as it did when we saw Major League. Major League made a huge difference because people thought that was real. So that's
So people count Major League as a Cleveland World Series.
Yeah,
then.
that
Okay.
counts. They
Harry's from rural Pennsylvania, so he's like a.
Are you by the Amish? I hate
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Amish
I
people.
grew up
Let that
out
be
there.
said as loud as possible. I hate Amish people.
Why?
Why?
Because they're thieves. They show up at the grocery store with smallpox, and then they steal. They don't have a mafia. They wouldn't even be effective as
You
a
don't.
mafia.
Wait a minute. You don't think Amish mafia is for real?
What are you gonna do?
Levi, man, I know
Yeah, I
him
know.
personally.
What are you gonna do if they cut off? They don't go against the dawn. They cut off a horse's head and leave it in your bed. They'd have no ride home.
No, I think their
They'd have
punishment
no
is cutting
ride
off
home.
beards,
You guys
right?
stepped all over my punchline. That
I'm
was
sorry.
hilarious.
I caught the punchline.
And
It was
if you'd
pretty
have
good.
heard it, you'd
Wait, can you
laugh.
tell it again? I missed it.
She
I
said,
just
what are they
hate
going to do?
them.
Cut the head off a horse?
No,
I don't
don't.
want
That's
people
not
to
even
really
worth
think
it.
that you hate Amish people. It's a joke,
No,
right?
it's not a joke.
Oh,
I do
okay.
hate Amish people. What are you going to do? They're not listening. I don't give a shit.
That's right. They don't have
That's
electricity.
true.
You be PC. I don't have to be PC. That's the only group I got an issue with. They charge 4 times the amount of money for Amish-made shed. I know you went to IKEA because you're the only one who understands the directions. I'm talking about sex discuss. People like there's not barely any female comics right now that are out, except for people that, like my best friend is Kathleen Madigan. And there's a whole new group of these young girls coming up that have all this disgusting sex stuff.
Yeah, they
that
talk
it's-
about sex and positions and
yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah.
It's great when you're 24, but I'm going to tell you, I'm 46 years old. No one wants to hear about that. Like, no one
I
wants
do.
to hear. You do?
You know how many young guys want to hear
Let me
about a
tell you something.
46-year-old woman's sex life?
Yeah, right? No one wants to hear about it. That's why I'd say but they won't have it. That's why sadly I'm still sitting here on a Wednesday. You know
How
what
about,
I mean?
how about Schumer, though? She does some stuff like that.
Oh no, but she's younger, right? She's
old
what?
is she?
She's 30 something.
She's 33, and she does a lot of. Let's just say watching her is like watching a lot of other female comedians.
But she's good, though. I mean, you got to give her credit, right? You not give her love? I mean, which he's been able to
I
do.
sense a little tension.
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying that there's a lot of, if you pay attention to some of the stuff that she does, a lot of other female comedians have done those exact jokes verbatim before her. If you can, so I'm not taking anything away from her journey and her ride, but I just wish sometimes she would review the people who came before her's act so she wouldn't repeat their material in her act. That's all.
I agree. So you
I
better
wish
make sure
her
you don't
a
repeat
lot of
my.
love,
You better not be using
but-
any of my material across
but-
the street this weekend.
Right.
I'll tell you that right now.
It was very hard for me to see two of my jokes acted out in scenes in Trainwreck, and it's hard for me to see Wendy Liebman's jokes in her HBO special, and it's hard for me to see Kathleen Madigan's jokes in her TV show. So it's hard for me to see, you can't be a feminist and then only take from women who came before you.
That's
The end.
listen.
So
I
said it.
totally get it.
The Cosby thing was said in Philadelphia. I'll say that too, and that's what do you want? The truth.
There's no other team in football that has gone through as many number one draft picks and is just not hit at all. I mean, it's unbelievable.
And by the way, you can hit reset if they've done something for you. Like, there's a lot to be overlooked. You might even. There are people that I hate to say this, but you go look over at Ray Lewis. He was on a murder rap. And they said, well, you beat it, so come on back, put the uniform on and jump in the game.
That's crazy.
He was on the field every Sunday while he was going through that. So, I mean.
It was just obstruction of justice.
It's all right.
Right, it turned out. He beat it. He beat it. Well, Ray Caruth, I think he played
in prison.
he's in prison, but he
Yes.
played until almost the end.
Yeah, he hit.
He had him, supposedly.
Exactly. Oh, I've hidden in the trunk of my car, but I didn't really kill anybody before I did it. That was
Well,
a
Greg
different story.
Hardy should be in jail.
Well, some people, yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Are we going to play moral cops here on this
I'm
show?
just
here?
saying,
sure as
we're
hell hope
saying
not.
that people we wouldn't have known about, we would have never known that Plaxico Burress shot himself.
In a bar, you're right. Back in the day, no
Right.
one would have known about
No
it.
one would have known it. He just would have been out.
Have you been on
My uncles
TMZ by
would
any chance?
My uncles would have known about it. That's how they made all the money. That's what the fantasy football was about back then. They would have known.
Yeah, pulling
Now,
cheddar
do you,
bobs.
I forgot what I just
Cheddar
asked you. now.
Bob. Did you just call him
TMZ.
Cheddar Bob?
Have you been on TMZ? Like, do people wait outside of clubs and like, oh, let's see if we can find
No,
Tammy
no one cares
Pescatelli
about
doing
me.
something really wrong?
Nobody cares about me.
Really?
No,
You have
no.
groupies. Oh, you have to have groupies.
Well, I have stalkers, but groupies are different. Stalkers
Oh,
and
we have
groupies
stalkers.
You
are
don't
two
have like
different things.
20-something guys who are like, man,
Stalkers
oh,
and
baby.
groupies are two different things.
Well, Tammy, it's been great. I really appreciate you coming by.
Thank you
People
for
will go
having me.
see
You guys
her.
are fun.
If you're in Philadelphia this weekend, you're listening all over. Of course, do you post all your upcoming dates on your website?
I do.
What's
I
the
do.
website?
Pescatelli.com.
Just pescatelli.com.
Yeah.
Now, it's two T's. No, one T, two L's.
Yeah.
Pesca, which means fish.
Yeah.
It's like a fish name, right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah.
derivative of fish.
Yeah.
Not pescatore, which would be a fish or person.
No, it's just a little fish.
Little fishes? Do you do the 7 fishes on
Yeah,
Christmas
of course.
Eve? Okay.
Yeah.
Pescatelli.com. She's here in Philly all weekend.
I do
Whether
feel-
she wants to be here or not, she's here right through Saturday night.
I do feel like it's Little Rome right now, though. I do still feel the glow of His Holiness.
We got
here.
Luigi up there. You know what? I forgot to bring you my Pope stuff.
Oh, man.
I had a I'll give it to you. I'll bring it back to this because we live right here in the city. You said you wanted Pope stuff. I got you an actual. I got the actual.
The brochure, the program.
from the Mass
Oh
with
my
all the
gosh.
hymns and everything the
Wow.
Pope did.
Did he sign it?
No, he didn't sign it. I did get John Lennon signed it. John Lennon signed something for me, but the Pope wasn't big. It was too big to sign for me. Now,
Very
people
special.
call into this phone number. You can do it 24/7. It's a
Okay.
recorded line. It's 484-483-MY-TB.
Correct.
484-483-6982. You call the number. It's just a recorded line, and then you leave a message.
Yeah.
And then we play the messages back. And we had a very special message earlier today.
Correct. Well,
From
this one, you might recognize this voice, Harry Mays.
What up, Bruno's? What up, Mays? What up, Luigi? What up, Miss Robbins? What up, Joe's? What up, Nathaniel's? And welcome back, Mays. Other than that,
Other than that,
Get down to the business.
yo.
Let's get down to the business, yo. Now, since that's a recorded line, Jose knew to stop right there because he couldn't actually go back and forth with us.
Okay.
So he's left it up to us to get down to the business.
All right.
Now, so far tonight, we've already discussed a couple of things. We talked about the divisions, the worst divisions ever. Now, let me ask you this again before we get to our next call. Is this NFC East Because right now it looks like, oh, this is the worst division in football. But I mentioned just last year you had the Carolina Panthers 7-8-1 winning their division. Now there hasn't been a tie yet. I was hoping Washington and the Cowboys would tie the other night so that we'd have a real mess crap show there. But they were 7-8-1. Everybody in that division stuck. The Saints were terrible. Remember, you just go up and down Atlanta.
Yeah,
every team had an awful year. Carolina, because Cam Newton was hurt, they finally put it together. They make the playoffs.
Well, Tampa was awful. They finished last.
Yeah, 2-14.
In the league. They were number 1 in the draft, so they had the worst record in football.
That whole division was really actually much worse because the worst team last year, Tampa, got the first pick overall in the draft. Right? This year, I mean, all these teams are bad. And they have different reasons to be bad. The Giants can't hold on to a lead. They've blown, 5 fourth-quarter leads, 3 of them by double digits, in most of them in the last, minute and a half of the game, 75 seconds. There was a stat that if the Giant games ended 75 seconds sooner, they would be 10-2 right now. That's how many games they've blown in the last couple of minutes. And it's mind-boggling.
It's incredible.
And as bad as the Eagles have been, and they're bad. And they're bad. I mean, and they've had some titanically, but they also had the Washington game where their kicker misses an extra point and a field goal, and those are 4 points that should have been on the board, and they lose by 3. So that's a game they could have won. Obviously, the Miami game was the one that really.
They had a 16-3 lead.
A 16-3 lead. They were about to go up either 19-3 with a field goal or bury the game with a touchdown. So they kicked the field goal after a sack that Sam Bradford takes. And instead of going for a touchdown, they settled for 3.
And
they missed the field goal after that. And it's 16-3 and the momentum shifts and they wind up losing that game.
Blocked the punt. Miami blocked the punt.
Exactly. And so that was inexcusable. That's a game you should win. So those are 2 wins right there. I'm saying that the Eagles should have won those 2 games. So I'm not giving them, they should have beaten Detroit. They were outclassed. Tampa destroyed them. The Miami game, they should have won, right?
Yeah.
And the Washington game, the first game, with those 4 points off the board, they still score a touchdown, remember, and Washington wins the game on the final drive.
Well, Washington drove 95 yards.
Exactly, and I give them credit for that, but they wouldn't have been in a position where that touchdown would have won the game.
Right.
The Eagles missing the 4 points, their kicker not accounting for 4 points that were absolutely right there to be had, cost them the game. So that's 2 losses. The Giants, we mentioned their losses. Dallas lost Romo, and they weren't able to win until the other night. And then, of course, you got Washington, which is great at home until the other night and terrible on the road. They haven't won a game. So this division is bad, but each team has had its chance to grab the bull by the horns, and it's failed to do so, right?
Right.
So who's the best team in the NFC East?
Right now, I guess you'd have to say the Eagles.
It's hard to believe,
You
right?
really would, because they've played some of the worst football, Tony, I've ever seen at the professional level this season.
Although their
Dallas
defense
game,
has played
week
well
2.
at times, and so has their special teams.
But when I think of the Eagles, I think of Chip Kelly and offense.
Yes.
That's why he was brought here.
Exactly.
He was supposed to be an offensive guru and a genius. What I'm watching is not.
No, it's painful.
It's awful football.
It's painful
terrible.
to watch many times. And now he's got the whole DeMarco Murray thing, and he's meeting on the plane. I guess DeMarco Murray didn't realize that Jeffrey Lurie is not Jerry Jones.
Right.
I mean, Jerry Jones comes down and talks to guys all the time, and they go, because he runs the team.
Right.
Jeffrey Lurie is not going to say, hey, DeMarco, sit down here in first class with me. Let's talk here on our plane ride back from New England.
I don't think DeMarco's timing could have been.
Piano ball with me anytime.
Exactly. He wasn't out drinking, playing Play It Again, Sam, for me in a bar, in a smoke-filled bar in Plano, Texas, somewhere. Right
I was in Plano a couple weeks ago.
You were?
Huh.
Oh, you were. That's right. You were down there with the Temple University football house. Love Plano,
The
Texas.
Metroplex.
Exactly.
Every woman is blonde.
Oh.
And enhanced.
Well,
That's
come
kind of
on.
like California.
It is kind of like
Really?
Except they all have the big painted-on jeans and the big belt buckles and the boots.
and boots.
They have big hair, right?
And you should see what the girls wear there too, man. It's just unbelievable. It's just amazing.
No, but if I had to do it all over again, Tony, I would have gone to SMU.
Yes. It's a great school.
Oh, yeah.
Larry Brown was down there. Of course, our good friend, the SMU, the death penalty school back in the day with Craig James. Anyway, we'll get back to that because I want to talk about Temple with that Harry, too, because, Harry, part of the Temple
I know,
University
it's so
Football
exciting.
broadcast team with an unbelievable season, and you're heading to Boca Raton, too, I would
Yes, I
imagine,
am.
right?
Yeah.
And we actually invited the entire Temple football team to come down here and participate and coach. This was even before we found out that Coach Matt Rule was going to be extended for 6 years, which we were very excited about. So we didn't know. We're like,
he'd come down here once the season.
right? He does.
absolutely,
He
yeah.
said
He's out
yes.
recruiting.
He's out
Guarantee he would,
recruiting, and so as soon as he's done recruiting, as soon as the bowl game is over. over. They're going to come out, and the entire Temple football
We'll give 'em
team
love.
is going to come
We'll
down
even give
here,
them some marmot
fill
jackets.
all these seats.
You know, some marmot jacket. People didn't know what marmot was
Right.
because it's a rodent.
Yes.
Right?
It's like a varmint.
Yeah, it's like a groundhog. There are marmots.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, in the movie The Big Lebowski, there's the scene where Jeff Bridges is in the bathtub.
But that's a ferret.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know,
that's
but
a
the
ferret.
guys come in, and then he says, "Nice marmot," and they throw it in the bathtub, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a marmot. It was fraudulent marmot.
Right.
Yes.
That was
We
It's a
actually
ferret.
found a marmot online. There was a video, and Robin and I did a video and posted it yesterday.
It's hysterical.
And it's a marmot. It's somewhere in Asia.
Is it like a
No,
lemur?
no. I think no. It looks like a beaver without the tail.
Oh, I've seen that.
It looks. It's,
So there's a picture.
Sort of like my ex-girlfriend.
It's an outrage.
I love the Astro.
I thought we were
football.
going to break down all the
Frito-Lay
bowl
roll.
games.
No, we're not, Harry.
I was
no,
bringing.
we're
I have
not.
a blazer in the car.
We got
I
a blazer.
want
The
people to
blazer
listen.
wearing bozos.
Exactly.
We got
I
a
want people
blazer-
to listen to this podcast. Although
We got a blazer right here in the front row. What are you talking
where's
about?
the blazer, right? Oh,
Right
right
there.
there's blazer. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a blaze.
can't
I
even
thought
see
we'd
my
do that,
picture.
or maybe break down the Christmas Day NBA.
We'll get to
festival.
that. We got plenty of time here, Harry. We got plenty of time. Anyway, back to the NFL where we were talking about. How do we get off track? So anyway, we've agreed the NFC East sucks.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, who
awful.
have 3 of their last 4 games at home, including 3 consecutive games.
And that might not be a good thing.
No, because they've been mediocre at
Yeah.
home. They're 2-4
Yeah.
at home. Dallas is 1-5 at home this year.
Right.
They play better on the road than they do at home. So Dallas is technically still alive at 4-8. They got to go to Green Bay, Buffalo,
Yeah.
and then they have the Jets and Washington still at home, and they're fine.
Yeah, they're
4
done.
games. Are they going to win more than 1 game?
No, I don't think so.
So even if they win 1 game, I mean, even if they, for example, even if they
let's just say they
lose
win
only
2.
1,
Let's just say they win 2,
right?
and they get to
win
6
2.
wins.
They'll be 6-10.
Yeah, there's no
right?
way they're going to win.
They're not going to. They're not going to run the table. You would think.
No.
Are they going to go to Green Bay and win? Is
No.
it possible?
Yeah, Green Bay's not really playing all that well.
No, they had that unbelievable win with that throw.
Yeah, the Hail Mary.
Oh, what
Yeah.
a play!
Yeah.
You ever watch the trajectory of that
I know.
play? The
If
one-
that was in
Freaking-
Dallas, that would have hit
Yeah.
the scoreboard,
Absolutely.
the video board.
Unbelievable.
It was one of the most unbelievable, not just because of when it happened, but the way he threw that ball. and
That hang time was incredible.
It was. It was. So anyway, they're not going to win in Green Bay. Are they going to go to Buffalo, who's still fighting for a playoff spot, and win up there?
Doubtful.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be fair. I'm not going to say they're going to lose this game. The Jets are playing up and down. You don't
Yeah.
know, and they still have Washington.
Right.
And they've got Washington at home, and the Cowboys don't play well at home.
No.
And Washington just beat them in their own building. So Dallas is, to me, the longest shot. You got, obviously, I mentioned the Eagles with the 4 games, 3 straight, Buffalo, Arizona, Washington, and then
Dallas,
they got
the Giants have a tough schedule.
yeah, the Giants actually do have. They have 2 at home, Carolina and the Eagles they have up there. And then they got to go to Miami and Minnesota. And
yeah.
now the Vikings are still fighting for a playoff spot as either the division winner or the first wild
Right.
card in the NFC. So that's a tough schedule for the Giants, who, they look like they're going to be the best team, and then something goes terribly wrong at the end for them. And then finally you got Washington, and Washington's got 1 at home, the Buffalo Bills, and then they've got 3 on the road where they haven't won.
Right.
Where they're 0-5. They got to go to the Bears,
This week, yeah.
who are up and down. The Eagles and then Dallas are there.
Yeah.
So they play 2 division teams, and then they play the Bears and the Bills. The Bills at home, and again, that could be a huge game for Buffalo in that particular situation.
Yeah, the Bills play 3 of the teams in the division
Exactly.
over the last 4 weeks.
And the Eagles, if the Eagles were in the AFC East, they would be winning the division because they've already beat. The only team they've lost to is Miami.
Miami, yeah.
They beat New England
They
and
beat
they
the
beat the
Jets,
Jets.
yeah.
But they couldn't beat the stinking Miami Dolphins when they had them down 16-3. So anyway, there's your NFC East breakdown segment. You don't get this kind of breakdown
That
segment
was some
anywhere else.
damn good football discussion.
Damn,
Now,
I should do that.
It's a countdown to the Lima's lasagna and the 7 vodkas. Remember that?
Oh,
that's
that's right.
right.
Yes, not the 7 fishes.
Yes, the 7
Because the
vodkas.
Lima, who's Harry's live-in
Makeup artist, yeah.
artist, referred to as the Lima,
Right.
Not from Lima, Peru, or Lima up in
Near Media.
In Media,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Lima, Delaware County, which Robin never understands any of that stuff.
Well, why it's called Lima?
Yeah, for example,
Yeah.
it's Lima here, but it's Lima in Peru.
Correct.
And
They
it's
make
like
no sense.
Reading, but people say it's Reading because it's spelled Reading.
Yeah, it's Reading, California.
No, it's Reading, California.
R-E-D-D-I-N-G.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's double D's.
But
which
here it's
we love
spelled
everywhere we are,
R-E-A-T.
actually, especially in California.
But there's another one
I
that's
prefer real
spelled.
double D.
Well, I do too.
There's
yeah.
another town that you would think that's spelled differently, and it's the name. It's a French a street here.
Ephrata? No, no.
How's that French? No, there's a name.
Oh, no, you know what it is?
Dauphin.
Dolphin.
Dauphin.
Oh, yeah.
Ye-
Dauphin.
Phin. It should be Dauphin.
Which is French.
Oh, okay.
Like Susquehanna Dolphin, which is the Broad Street subway stop, is
Right.
Susquehanna Avenue, and then Dolphin Avenue.
Makes no sense.
I know, but there's a lot of things like that. You drive around all over the country and you're like, spelled that way, but it's not.
Right.
Like Wawa, people didn't realize is actual town in Delaware County,
Correct.
and that's where the dairy is, and that's now
But I
everybody
would pronounce
loves
that Wawa, not.
Yeah, Wawa's not one
Yeah.
you're going to miss. But there's a lot of towns in Pennsylvania, and there's obviously we're talking about the Amish country. You go up there, there's Intercourse,
Right.
and Bird in Hand,
Right.
Blue Ball,
which is never good.
which I think our friend is here.
Tuckahoe Inn. Tuckahoe Inn's a good one.
yeah.
Tuckahoe Inn.
Tuckahoe Inn, that's a good one.
Exactly, yes.
But-
But moonshine's legit now. Now they sell it in jars, and it's really expensive, but they have great stuff. They don't, you know, it's not like. Exactly right. You know exactly what we're talking about. So, Howard, what do you think of the painkiller?
I love it.
It's a great
love it.
summertime drink. I should patent my own pain.
You should.
Because, you know, even though the Soggy Dollar Bar sells it, they don't own the name painkiller.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's another place called Pussers. Pussers is a chain.
That's
They
a rum, too,
Yeah,
isn't it?
Pussers is
Yeah,
a
Pussers
rum place.
rum.
They claim to have invented the
Yeah,
painkiller.
there's an argument as to who developed it, but the
Oh, okay.
history really shows that Soggy Dollar Bar was first.
I thought Pussers was a strip club off of Lehigh.
Well, no, that's a Harry's been there, actually.
spelled a
Harry and I
little
actually did an
differently.
appearance there one night a couple of years ago.
No, that was the Purple Orchid. wasn't
No, that was the Penthouse
Place that
Club.
got raided the night after we
That was
went.
that was the Penthouse Club that
That is
got
correct.
raided.
it? Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Harry
It
and I
was
did
the
an
day.
appear-
It was the day after
Halloween night.
Halloween.
We were there Halloween night.
That's right.
Robin and I don't even know if we had moved back or we just came back from LA to visit.
Uh-huh.
I
And
don't
we did
remember.
a part. We hosted
I think we had moved. I think it was just after we'd moved, literally like within 2 weeks.
So Harry and I are hosting a Halloween party at the Penthouse Club, which is right off I-95 in the middle
It's
of
like
nowhere.
Port Richmond.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful club
Yeah,
inside,
yeah.
but outside you're like, where the hell am I?
Right.
And we go in there and like, yeah, you know, Harry and I were schmoozing. People are all dressed up. I dressed up. I don't remember when I was dressed up. I think a pimp, which I think was a good costume
Right.
for that particular night.
And
so-
then the venue.
And
I
then,
mean,
so I had to be the guy on the stage introducing the marquee act.
right.
What was her name?
She was somebody that, like,
She was a latex and fetish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
was she was like a torture porn
yes. Yeah. I
or what
forget
was her name?
I don't know.
though?
But we went up in her dressing room, and her manager and her handler is telling me, okay, she's going to come down now, and then she's going to have something, and you're going to do what she says. And I'm like, okay. So she comes down the runway, right, and she's got this mesh outfit on, but she's got like leather on top of it, but it's a mesh bodysuit underneath.
It was the
like
mesh
a
body.
fishnet,
It
like
was the mesh
fishnets.
bodysuit underneath a nun's costume.
That's right. She
Oh,
came
yeah.
out dressed as a nun.
Right.
With a big cross, a big wooden cross, like a really big wooden cross.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the wooden cross, the bottom of it, she pulled on it and became a knife.
Yes.
And then she proceeds to cut off both the costume and through the fishnet thing.
The fishnet
Right.
thing. Remember her? And
Yeah.
I'm up there doing play-by-play.
It was like a body stocking.
Yeah, it was, but it was fishnet material.
right.
So Harry, who of course is on the sidelines during the Temple Owls broadcast, has done many things in his career and has described some third and long situations that the Temple University football Owls are in. I don't believe he's ever seen
No.
a play of that magnitude without knowing what was coming next.
No.
So this woman's laying on the stage on a runway. Her handler's now videotaping this. I'm like, she says, okay, now she's going to take the knife and she's going to plunge it into herself.
Yeah, it
And she's going to grab your hand.
It was disturbing.
It was
It
very
was disturbing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't believe
Yeah.
if this place gets raided,
Right.
they're going to take a picture of me standing there with this woman
like-
with the butt end of the knife,
Yeah.
pulling it into herself, and I got my hand on the other end.
yeah.
And I'm going to cut my hand off on the stage.
Somebody somewhere's into that, but it wasn't us.
No.
No.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
It was, and I'm sitting, they're like looking over at me, and I'm like, what?
I thought I was just the MC here. I didn't know I was a,
Right.
a prop in a porno act.
What are we supposed to do?
I don't know, the stunt,
but
whatever.
the funny thing is, okay, so that ended very quickly, and we made sure to leave so
Right.
that nothing else could happen.
So this is a
And the-
Saturday night, the
night
Halloween night.
After.
The
The
next
the very next night, the Penthouse Club gets raided,
Yeah.
and everybody there gets arrested.
Right.
Yes.
You know what?
Could you
Jim-
imagine if it was the night we were there that
Oh.
they had raided the place, and there I am holding a knife with a woman
We
who
would
just
have been-
cut her underwear off
Our
on
boss
stage?
would have loved that.
Oh man, that would
The
have been
three
good.
of us in the back of a paddy wagon
This would be
together.
great for the show.
I would have had a podcast by then.
Right.
back then. That
We
was,
could
that
sell
was one
this.
of the craziest.
Right.
It's one of those things. Yeah, we'll go to a club and we'll MC. Some Halloween costume
Right.
party at a strip club. I mean, who wouldn't?
Well, you know what Jim Rome says about porn.
What's he say?
You don't get into porn. You end up in porn.
Exactly right.
That's.
Thank you.
Ask Tara Reid, man.
Say, let's get back to the
I've
business
actually-
and
hold on.
play FMK with our good buddy Ruin J. Ruff.
Good evening, guys. Hello, Robin. Since I had a meeting yesterday, tonight's F, Marry, Kill theme will be lawyer-based. The participants are, number one, present-day Greta Van Susteren. The old Greta Van, that wouldn't work at all because she was hideous, more so than she is today. Number two, a lady who actually got impregnated, Nancy Grace. Actually, I was shocked by that because I thought even a turkey baster would say no.
Oh.
Lastly, that Brillo-headed chick who butchered the O.J. trial, Marsha Clark. I'll hang up and listen.
Wow.
Now, I've
So-
actually had
all right.
strict instructions that Harry must answer this.
right.
Yes.
Oh, so Harry's got. So
This
I have
is
the
for
photos
Harry.
right here, Harry.
Yes.
I have it. There's Greta Van Susteren.
Right.
I can't tell the difference pre or post.
Right.
She had some eye work done. Of course,
Actually,
the
she
great.
didn't look that bad when she was young.
No, she's all right. Her mouth
Yeah.
is crooked, but
Yeah.
hey, that happens.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge other people's appearances? And then, of course, the great Nancy Grace.
Yeah, I'm killing her.
Very angry. Wait a minute. And then
Oh.
Marsha
He's-
Clark. Now, this is actually Marsha Clark looks better now
Right.
because this is a picture during the OJ trial when she had the perm. And the
Right. She
whole
didn't
bit.
look like a Brillo pad back then. yeah.
Exactly. So, Harry,
All right.
it's up to you. Let me play some of the. I gotta
Why
play
won't you guys are going to play too, right?
No.
Now, this
One
one's
person plays this game.
One person, and then we can either agree or disagree
Okay.
with it.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get some music for this though, because we have to have
Where's
music.
Joe Eunice with the music?
I don't know where he is. I'm gonna play.
You told me to give you the controls. I'd have had it for you
I got
already.
it. Harry,
All right.
let's play FMK. Take it away.
All right. I would F Marsha Clark.
Really?
Yeah, I would. She's dirty.
But a good dirty though. you
Right.
mean,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Freak in the sheets, man. Absolutely.
I would marry Greta Van Susteren. She's got some money,
Right.
and I would kill that whatever she is.
Whatever that is.
Nancy.
Kill that, whatever that is.
You would have
that
to.
is.
Oh,
You can't.
man.
You can't listen to her voice without wanting to kill
Doesn't
her.
she have twins?
I don't know.
Is she still on, Nancy Grace?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
unfortunately.
sure people have said that about me, but I mean, I don't watch. What's she on? Headline News or
I have no idea.
True TV or?
I don't know.
She's an angry lady though.
She's always angry.
I like anger.
Well, I like
I
anger.
channel into that. That's okay. That can work.
But her voice is so annoying.
Anger is Harry's spirit animal.
Yeah. Now,
Do
you
people agree? Now, do you agree? I don't know, Harry.
Well,
I don't know.
No, I mean, I would have to maybe say that I think that
I don't know about
she's-
Marsha Clark.
I think Marsha
Well, who
Clark could be a
else
little
are
bit
you
nasty because Greta Van Susteren's not nasty. She's not dirty. She's a
nah,
little bit,
Greta Van Susteren's like
Greta-
from Appleton, Wisconsin.
right. I think she's like as straight laced as they come.
And I love Appleton, Wisconsin, by
Chris
the way. Where
from
I've been.
Lacrosse is just
Chris
up
from
near there.
Lacrosse.
Yes.
Appleton, the great George's Steakhouse, where I've been many times, and
It's
I
near
actually
Green
do their
Bay, right?
commercials. Yeah, Appleton is the town next to Green Bay. In Green Bay, there's no hotels and nothing. If you go to Green Bay, you actually stay in Appleton,
Right.
the town next door, and that's
Okay.
where all the hotels are. That's where the NFL teams go to. They don't stay in Green Bay.
and that's where you went in your Harold Carmichael jersey.
Exactly, and was
right?
on the field with Brett Favre in the game where the Eagles fumbled away like 50 consecutive punts.
Yeah, they didn't have a punt returner.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
They brought Reno Mahe back from Chicky and Pete's
I know.
the next week to be the punt.
But it
I
was, it's an amazing place.
I confiscated Reno Mahi's book bag at Chicky and Peace because that son of a bitch didn't want to pay his tab.
No!
Yes.
Wow!
He was there with Trotter.
Now he's a Mormon. He drank.
No, he had sodas and other stuff like that
Oh,
for his
okay.
table. But yeah, he was supposed to pay his
Yeah.
tab. in
By
his
the
book.
way, the Las Vegas Bowl
Yes.
is BYU and Utah. Nothing like bringing a bunch of Mormons to Las Vegas. I mean, do they want to make any money or what?
You want to talk about a Rumspringer?
Dumbest matchup
Wow,
ever.
I didn't even know. Boy, that's great the bowl
Yeah.
knowledge.
Well,
Because
the
there's
Diet Coke is. Well, they don't even drink that.
they don't
No,
drink
they-
Diet
I
Coke?
think-
Caffeine. That's
Not
right.
anymore. Like there was an edict came down that they had to.
Really?
Yeah, they had to cut out.
No wonder why
caffeine as
Mitt
well.
Romney didn't
no,
become
no, no,
president.
No, because then they bought Coca-Cola. Wasn't it owned by the
but I
Mormon
know
Church
Andy-
for a
Andy
while?
Reid
And then
doesn't drink.
all of a sudden they were allowed to drink it again.
Oh, they were.
Wait, what
I
about
think
our
so. I
buddy
forget.
Vi.
Sikahema? Or Sikahema?
Well, he doesn't
as,
drink alcohol.
No,
No.
Does he drink caffeine?
And he doesn't gamble.
I know that.
I mean,
I
what
have to
else do you
look
go to
this up.
Vegas for?
Does somebody out
The
there?
hand out cards on the strip,
Yeah.
the flip.
Somebody-
They don't even know
anywho.
Robin Van Persie plays for
But
Holland.
Bryan Cranston was on the Actor Studio.
Okay.
And there's a clip of him that I watched today where he admits that he lost his virginity in the red light district in Amsterdam
As a teenager.
as a teenager, like at 16 or 17 years old.
Man, I had him beat. I lost mine at like 13.
Jeez.
12, I thought
12,
it was.
13, I don't remember. I
lost
just know I
mine.
was young and impressionable.
13.
In his mother's bed.
Exactly.
Mine was on a
What?
baseball
Is that
field.
not sacrilege?
My mother was in Italy.
Yeah, his mother.
had the
Yeah,
house
his
to
mother was
myself.
not there.
She was visiting the Vatican.
She was visiting the Pope.
My first
and
week's-
I was she was visiting the Pope in Rome, and I was
were
blessing
sitting.
I was blessing the bed. Or whatever it was.
My first couple times were on a baseball field. I
Was
swear
it
to God,
really?
yeah, they called me the nature boy for like 3 years.
Oh,
I swear to God.
the nature boy.
I
Were you
swear
that
to
guy at
God.
the Buffalo Bills game in the
I was
parking
going.
lot? Did you see that
No,
video?
yeah, I did see that.
Did you see the couple in the parking lot of the Buffalo Bills game?
Unbelievable.
Doggy style in the parking lot.
Up
man.
against the car doggy style.
Well,
and
how
they
else
were,
can you do doggy style in the parking lot?
well, you could be on all fours, but she
Well,
she
it's
was
too cold. It's Buffalo.
She was not.
There's gravel down there.
Exactly. Come on, Robin.
So I mean, her pants are
You
down
got a
around
nice
her ankles.
1968 Dodge Dart to lean up against. Who's going to get down in the gravel? No, that was not a Kim Kardashian. And then a couple of weeks ago, it was a Washington Redskin
Yeah.
game in the upper deck.
Right.
And a guy standing up there. What jersey did he have on?
I forget. I forget.
he
and
was-
he's facing he's on the railing, and the woman is down underneath the railing facing him,
Right.
giving him oral sex. Yet Philadelphia gets ripped all the time. Except we're not having sex tonight. We're just beating people up. Yeah. Yeah, the guy in Dallas,
Philadelphia's
the Cowboy
doing
fan,
it
got
wrong.
stabbed in the Monday night game in the parking lot. Did you see that?
In Washington.
Yeah. The guy got stabbed, the
Right.
Cowboy fan. The stinking Cowboys finally beat the Redskins, and you're going to go out and stab a guy? And we get ripped in Philadelphia all
I
the
know.
time?
I know.
There's heinous activity every single day, Harry, and I'm not going to stand for it. You know what? Let's go to the phones.
So we are
Okay,
going to do it.
let me do one. And it's so funny because we use a transcriber for the phone calls.
We need a translator for this show, unfortunately.
And
sometimes.
I'm sure that this transcription is completely wrong, but hopefully there's no bad words in it because I haven't been able to pre-listen.
Let's go to the phones. It's your good buddy Joe Eunice calling in. I had to do it. I'm glad to see Harry Mays coming down there and going online with you guys and reuniting the crew. Thanks for the invite, Tone. I really appreciate that. I got an NBA to watch anyways. I'm watching Celtics Bulls right now. You'd be proud of me. But play some drops and make me feel proud about it. I'm listening in live, so love you guys, and I wish I was down there.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, the
about
great Joe Eunice
Yeah.
at JY975 Godfather Locks.
Godfather Locks.
You know, he
yeah.
buys everybody else's podcast. You think he spends a dime on this show? Joe Eunice?
Hey.
I'm out here slaving over a hot microphone, as our good buddy Tom Looney would
Looney.
say out at Fox. And he's buying every Tom, Dick, and Harry's website and show.
Yeah.
Joe,
That's
you're
an
invited anytime.
outrage.
Does he go back and forth to Allentown like 15
Yeah.
times a day anymore?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
It's
No,
awful.
Joe's a great kid. I
Yeah.
mean, we love him, and you love him, and you still work with him, and I miss
yeah.
him. And he's good.
He's the producer for the show.
Absolutely. Joe, is he still living in Allentown?
Yeah. He's having a baby. His wife's having a baby.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I gotta
You know,
say,
Nick Cale has twins.
No, I didn't know that either.
yes,
girls.
we knew that.
You knew that, didn't you?
We did.
Oh, yeah,
know
that's
that.
right. I'm sorry. I didn't know Joe's wife was pregnant. How does he have time to make babies? He's like working 24 hours a day. But I'm glad he's listening. We're on
Nick Cale's got a lot of time.
Well, he's got a lot of time in his hands,
Jesus,
too. Yeah.
Tara.
Now, should we do?
Wow.
Wow.
That's a low blow, Harry. You'll never hear me taking those kinds of gratuitous cheap shots at any of my former cohorts and friends, except for one guy who I don't even mention.
That's right.
So there you have it.
Well, and I'm sorry we didn't get to any of the other phone calls, but next time, for those of you listening, call in sooner so that we know about them.
Yeah, you can call 20. You're up at 4:22. Say one of your friends' kids calls at 4 o'clock in the morning. You can't go back to bed. Instead of going online on Twitter or on Tinder, you just call the phone number 484-483-MyTB, 484-483-6982, and then you can leave a message after the
Right.
beep.
Right.
You can say something funny. If you have a question you want one
You
of
want
us
to
to
rip
answer.
Harry?
Yeah.
You know, if you want to use profanity. It's not going. We don't edit anything.
I can bleep it.
Exactly.
Yes.
My
You got
partner,
problem?
Rob Ellis is asleep by now.
Is he asleep by
He
now?
gets
He's got to
at
get up
2
and
in
do
the
breakfast
morning,
with broads.
2:15 in the
Yeah,
morning.
he's got to do
Right.
breakfast with
Right.
broads, right?
Ugh.
I love that
with
show.
Jillian Mealy,
Absolutely.
Sarah Baker.
I was on that show.
I know.
I only went on there once, though. They haven't asked me back.
Are you going to be doing this Fox weekend Good Day thing that they're doing?
No.
They're going weekends now.
I know.
Oh, I know. I read about that.
I just pop in. They started last weekend. Actually, Mike. I was
Yeah,
on with
Jarek
Mike Jarek.
on this show?
Not yet. He's been on.
He's
other
actually coming.
podcasts.
He was supposed to come tonight, but then he ended up having to go to New York instead.
I'm the
So
guy
he's-
I was on when he made the bet about going
Right.
to
And
to
shaving
Chip
his
Kelly
head.
to shave his head if they beat the Patriots. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
on
He
with
got
him.
this some things
Oh,
shaved
yeah.
into his
Yeah,
head.
I almost goaded him into doing
Right.
that, but he did it, and he went and shaved his head and got the Eagles logo on
Yeah.
the back and walked down to Chip Kelly. So that's what we do. We have fun. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the great Luigi Curto up there,
Yeah, he's great.
who's an angry man, and Harry loves that kind of
But he
anger.
hates John Clark.
He hates
I don't
John
hate him.
Clark.
I just
We
don't
will
like
set up. We will set up a tennis
this is
match
gonna
for
be
charity. The great Nathaniel Dotson. Follow him at Tutvid. Tudvid. He's a genius. Of course, the great Harry Mays.
Boyertown's own.
Boyertown's
Yeah.
own. What's your Twitter handle again, Harry?
Harry Mays 975.
Harry Mays, Mayes 975. And don't forget to follow Ed Miss Robin Austin at Tony Bruno Show and the show on the website, TonyBrunoShow.com for the free tickets. We got gear in there. We got anything you want. Anything. I mean anything. Yes, except weed. Except weed. It's not legal yet. Except in small quantities.
Right.
If you need like a nickel bag, I can take care of you. Anything bigger than that, I'm sorry. In the meantime, I want to thank Tammy Pascatelli and the great Mr. Harry Mays, ladies and gentlemen. Back together again.
Oh, it was
Almost like-
fantastic.
And of
Grey
course,
Goose.
Grey Goose,
Right.
who had nothing to do with the show except our good friend Brian Gutherman, who
Oh,
brought
yeah.
it for Luigi. And
He's
brought
one
it
of
for
our
Jay.
original
NJ Nuke.
sponsors.
And